What is up, guys? I'm Certified Trash Boy, and this is episode 1 of my new Dark Souls-centric series, From the Soul. Basically, what this is going to be is a in-depth walkthrough of, particularly From the Soul will be Dark Souls 1, but we're going to go through Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Bloodborne, and Sekiro. We're going to be focusing mainly on story, characters, gameplay mechanics, just an overall look back basically on the Dark Souls series. So without further ado, let's just get right into it.
In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire, and with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark. Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead. The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bullets peeled apart their stone skills. The witches weaved great firestorms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease. And Seath the Scaleless betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more. Thus began the Age of Fire. But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers, and man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark side. Yes, indeed. The dark sign brands the undead. And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world. This is your fate.
Here we are, the Undead Asylum, where this journey for lots of people probably began for the first time. Now, I did play Demon Souls, but I did not play it until after I had played Dark Souls the first time. So here we are. This is the start of many, many people's adventures into this series. A few quick things before we get going here. I started as the thief or bandit. What's it called? What's the starting thing in this one called? I believe it's a thief. For a couple reasons. One thing, I wanted a high starting dexterity because that is the kind of build we're going to be doing. Another thing is the thief starts with the master key, which while we're not going to be skipping much, we are going to be using that master key to show numerous routes and ways you can do things. And I wanted to start out with my actual gift being the Old Witch's Ring, which I will explain later on. For those of you who have played the game extensively, you already know why. But the whole point of this series is we're kind of doing it like we're first timers, sorta. In a way, I'm not gonna probably not going to die as much as first timers would. At least hopefully not. Would do the opposite of the goal I have for this series. But here we can just start out here. We got these tutorial messages. Obviously, that's how to attack. One of the biggest things you can do at the start is just looking over into here. Really cool, just the level design of these games. And it's kind of funny too, because if we're a new player and we see that, we're like, oh, okay, that's fucking horrifying. But we might think this is who we fight at the end of this stage, but it is not. And again, if you've played before, then of course you know who that actually is. Let's get going here. So this first episode will probably be pretty short in length in comparison to how they will be later on. I'm aiming for like an hour each one or so, just depending. But this one we're just going to mainly focus on getting out of the asylum. So let's go on up here, where this opens up for the first time. We get out of those tight corridors, this big sprawling courtyard. And you can check the other doors in this if you want. Again, if you're a beginner, I recommend exploring as much as you can. So we can check this. Obviously, it does not open from this side. But let's rest here. Now again, and I know there's probably quite a bit of people that are just now getting into the Souls games, or air quotes Souls games, with Sekiro. And if that is the case, I highly recommend coming back and playing the Dark Souls games and Bloodborne. So if you're one of those people, this series is also for you. Mainly this series is for me. I'm just reliving all this as like a nostalgia trip. Here's something really fucking cool too. That's our area boss, obviously, the Asylum Demon. So this should be kind of the first hint, if you're playing this the first time. That demon we saw just a couple moments back down in there, you'd be like, well, how the fuck did he get up there? That's weird. So if we walk forward here, he slowly fades out of view. This is just one of the things of if you actually look around at your surroundings in these games, you can see what's coming. If we were standing back here like we just were, and we're paying more attention, like most people will probably just run right in. You look up, you see him, you're like, oh shit. But then you notice the game takes away your ability to see him, and it does it right before he's about to jump down. So if you just run in here, obviously he's going to jump down on you like that. But we just want to go right over here to the left, obviously. I mean, we could fight him, and I'd probably kill him with the straight sword hilt, but that's not how you should be doing it. I didn't really need to rest there, but whatever. It's all good. It's all good. Let's just continue on here. Here we have our tutorial training, obviously. So let's equip the target shield, one of my favorite shields in the game. With the shield equipped, guard. And obviously change equipment. So it teaches us how to guard. So it's slowly teaching us. It taught us how to attack earlier before we even had a weapon. Oh, I was trying to backstab him. Damn it. Now we have our bandit's knife, which we are going to be using throughout the whole game. Not as our primary, but we're going to have it upgraded along with a katana. I don't know which katana I'm going to use yet. Make quick work of him. I will probably get the first katana, the Uchi katana, in the Undead Burg later. Not too far later, but I will be using that one for a bit, and then I don't know what I'm going to switch to. Obviously, we're using a katana because we're building this series to end up being... This is all the prequel to a big, in-depth Sekiro playthrough, obviously. But there's an item right here that we can't get to. In fact... I can't remember if there was ever a way to glitchily jump up there. I feel like there is. I'm not going to sit here and try to do it, but maybe I might just be thinking that, and there might not really be true. If we look in here, we can see a familiar looking face. So let's go talk to him. But we can't. Not yet.
You. You're no hollow. Thank goodness. I'm done for, I'm afraid. I'll die soon, then lose my sanity. I wish to ask something of you. You and I, we're both undead. Hear me out, will you?
I will absolutely hear you out, my friend.
I have failed in my mission, but perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family. Thou who art undead art chosen. And thine exodus from the Undead Asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know. And I can die with hope in my heart. Oh, one more thing. Here, take this. An Estus flask. An undead favorite. Oh,
thank you, sir. That's going to be crucial. Undead Asylum F2 East
now
Key.
I must bid farewell. I would hate to harm you after death.
Alright.
So go now.
Go now, and thank you. So, one thing here... There's a few theories, and I don't know if it's ever been confirmed or anything. Either we saw the Asylum Demon on the roof earlier. Maybe the Asylum Demon, you know, hit him and he came flying through this hole and made this hole himself, and the light's kind of shining down on where he landed. There is the rubble under him, but that looks like it could have just come from the collapsation, like, of the area behind him, right behind him there. Some people think he's just super clumsy and wasn't actually really good at his job and just fell into the hole and broke his leg or some shit. I don't know, but interesting things to think about there. It's kind of fun to try to figure out your own little narrative there. Okay, so he gave us this key. I guess we can examine it. Let's examine it first. Oh man, the menus control very differently. Dungeon cell key, that's the one. So he's now given us 2 keys. He dropped this for us at the start. Obviously he was the knight who peered over and gave us the key to get out. Then he gives us this one. Key to the iron bars on the east side of the 2nd floor of the North Undead Asylum. The Undead Asylum is a Giant undead prison segmented by countless iron bars. Even if an undead were to escape from a cell, passage to the outside world would not be gained easily. And then we hear him die there. You hear that little... that. However, we will see him again. Don't you worry, we will see Oscar again. That's not what he gave us the key for. That just unlocks this little shortcut back into this area. We don't need a rest, so we can just head back up where we were. Okay, I wanted to make sure I didn't have anything on my belt. I'm paranoid about shit like that. I like to keep my belt clean, okay? Don't you worry about it. Wicked. Oh, the parrying, man. The parrying feels so easy after getting shit on in Sekiro for as long as I did before I finally got good at that game. So that is the door for the key that he gave us. Wield right weapon two-handed, so he teaches you how to two-hand here, which is like that, which we're not going to do on these enemies, at least not yet. Or we're not going to probably ever do on these kinds of enemies. Not with this dagger, anyway. Once we have our katana, we'll be two-wielding. Or dual-wield, whatever. Two-handing. That's the word I was looking for. But right now, we're just going to parry the fuck out of him. Because that's the funner way. Obviously, again, if you're new, you probably don't know much about preparing. I'll explain that a little bit later. Probably in the next episode of when we are first exploring around Firelink and talking to NPCs and stuff like that. If you are new, just slowly fight through this area. Be careful with around this first corner here. With these dudes, there's the two sword dudes that will follow you around this corner like you just saw me do that, and that archer dude will always stay back there. He won't chase you around this corner. What you can do if you want to fight him one at a time is you can come up to like here, and that first one will see you. If he doesn't, you can smack the wall there and make noise, and he'll come around the corner and you can kill them one at a time. Sometimes you might accidentally pull both around the corner, but again, if you're like the warrior starting class, it's probably the best starting class because it starts with the longsword and the heater shield, so that's probably the best starting class for new players. Just use those one-handed wide swings and you'll be golden. And then you just run out there blocking, kill that guy, and it taught you how to kick at that tutorial right before this spot, so that's how you want to handle that shield guy in there, is just kick his shield, swing on him. You will not have any problems. So here he is. We can wait up here. He will jump up here if we wait too long, so we're just going to dive down and immediately go to his right, our left. He's going to do that sweep. We can just start hitting him. He's going to do that one again. If we stick to this left, he should mainly do that sweep, and you should just be able to hug his ass and get a very, very easy kill on him like that. Big Pilgrim's Key. Alright. So those doors open back up. I actually wonder, I don't know if I've ever tried just going back through these doors again to fight him. I'm sure you could. You wouldn't get the nice plunging attack. Which, by the way, so I will explain that now. Okay, so first thing you'll want to do is start off by doing a jumping attack by pushing forward and R2 at the same time. That'll send you into this leaping animation. From there on, you want to continue to mash your light attack button, which is R1 on PlayStation, until you make contact, because that will give you a boost in damage upon doing the plunging attack. From there on, you want to run directly to your left, aka his right, and start attacking him from behind. This will usually lock him in an animation loop where he tries to do the same swinging attack again and again. Every once in a while, he'll jump up. Once he does that, just take a few steps back, wait for him to land, and wait for the dust around him to settle a little bit before running back into his right side. Continue doing that, and you should be able to kill this boss fairly easily. Okay, so that was like just a little bit more of a slowed down, broken down part of how I did that plunging attack and stuck with that fight for the easy victory. So let's move on now. I will be doing little slow down post commentary edits of most of the boss fights like that, by the way. At least the ones that I feel need it. Here we go. This is our big moment. Gotta just look around. Funny thing is one of the things that makes Dark Souls a really gorgeous game to look at isn't the actual graphical fidelity of the game, because it's not like it has the highest pixels or whatever you want to talk about. It's the environments. But the irony in that is this all just looks pretty ugly. Like, because it's separated from like everything else, so it's not like you're looking at this to see, like, you're not looking at places you can go and stuff like that. It's just kind of like gray mountains in the back. I think it's kind of funny that one of my favorite things about this game is basically absent from the start here. It's like, that's just ugly. That's just ugly grayscale mountains. But that's okay, because that's all about to change right now. Gotta do the RP walk, man. You gotta do the slow, epic RP walk up the mountain. Up to the little Pride Rock looking ass shit.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen to leave the Undead Asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.
And here we are. This is going to be our home for this entire playthrough. Firelink Shrine, the start of Lordran. We're going to get into this whole area next episode, exploring Firelink, showing different routes you can go from Firelink. That will probably be all of next episode. Probably another short one, like half an hour or so. But maybe not. Depends. We'll see. And then episode 3 is when we'll actually be journeying up into the Burg where we need to be going, or where you naturally should be going from here. But regardless, again, this really is just a series I'm kind of doing for myself. I just wanted to do another slow, really analytical playthrough of this game, and I figured I might as well share that with you guys. I know it's probably not going to get the same amount of views as the other kind of videos I make, like the comedy reaction stuff, but that's okay. If you made it this far, make sure you drop a like. And I do have a question for everyone who made it this far. I was toying around again with the idea of doing a side playthrough of this game, trying to play with one hand on the controller only. That'd just be like a fun little thing. It wouldn't be like this in-depth commentary and stuff. It'd just be live, like, it'd be some pretty off-the-wall stuff. If you want to see that, let me know. Until then, I will see you guys in a couple days when we return to From the Soul. Peace.